The average car battery lasts 3 to 5 years. That's what AAA says. That's what every mechanic tells you. But here's what nobody talks about. In Japan, drivers are routinely squeezing 7, 8, even 10 years out of the exact same batteries. Same lead-acid chemistry, same 12-volt system, same everything. The difference? Maintenance. Japan has one of the most rigorous vehicle inspection systems on the planet, called Kaizen. Every 2 years, your car gets torn apart and examined by certified inspectors. If anything fails, you pay for repairs, or your car does not drive on public roads. Period. That system has created a generation of drivers who treat their batteries like precision instruments, not disposable parts. And the results speak for themselves. Japanese used cars exported around the world consistently arrive with batteries still in excellent health after years of use. Today, I'm breaking down 7 specific techniques that Japanese drivers and mechanics use to make their car batteries last up to 3 times longer than the average American drivers. And trick number 4 is so simple, it is almost insulting that no one told you about it sooner. Trick number 7. They never let short trips destroy the battery. This is the silent killer that most drivers have no clue about. If your daily commute is under 15 minutes, you are slowly murdering your car battery. Here is the science. When you start your engine, the battery dumps a massive amount of energy to the starter motor. The alternator is supposed to replenish that energy while you drive, but it takes at least 20 to 30 minutes of continuous driving for the alternator to fully recharge the battery after a cold start. So if you are doing 5-minute trips to the grocery store, 10-minute commutes to work, or quick runs to pick up the kids, your battery never fully recovers. It stays in a chronic state of undercharge. Over time, this causes sulfation, when lead sulfate crystals build up on the battery's internal plates and permanently reduce its capacity. One real-world example that illustrates this. A driver who did an 8-minute commute each way with the air conditioning blasting in summer. Her original battery lasted just 3 years and 2 months. When tested at 32 months, it held only 58% of its rated capacity. The battery was cooked, not from age, but from chronic undercharging. Japanese drivers, especially those in urban areas with short commutes, deliberately take their cars on longer drives once or twice a week, 30 to 45 minutes on the highway. That one habit alone can add years to your battery life. If you do not drive often, or your trips are always short, investing in a smart battery maintainer is the Japanese mechanics' go-to recommendation. We will get to that in a moment. Trick number 6. They obsessively clean battery terminals. Walk into any Japanese auto shop, whether it is a dealer doing Kaizen inspections or a local garage, and one of the first things they check is the battery terminals. That white or bluish crusty buildup you see on your battery posts is corrosion, and it is silently strangling your battery's ability to deliver and receive power. Corrosion increases electrical resistance between the terminal and the cable, and that means your alternator has to work harder to charge the battery, and the battery has to work harder to start the engine. Studies from the Automotive Battery Council found that keeping connections clean can improve battery performance by up to 25%. Japanese mechanics clean terminals every single time a car comes in for service. Here is how they do it. Make a paste of baking soda and water. Use an old toothbrush. Scrub the terminals and cable ends until they are shiny. Rinse with clean water. Dry thoroughly. Then apply a thin layer of petroleum jelly or a specialized terminal protector spray. That grease layer is not cosmetic. It creates a barrier that prevents new corrosion from forming. The whole process takes 5 minutes. You can do it in your driveway. Yet most drivers never touch their terminals until the car won't start one morning. Trick number 5. They use battery insulation blankets and never remove them. Here is something most people do not realize. Heat, not cold, is the #1 killer of car batteries. Every 10 degrees Celsius increase above 25 degrees cuts the battery's chemical lifespan roughly in half. Under your hood, Temperatures can easily exceed 200 degrees Fahrenheit on a hot day. That blistering heat accelerates internal corrosion, evaporates battery fluid, and supercharges sulfation on the lead plates. Japanese automakers like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan have been installing battery insulation blankets from the factory for years. These foam or rubber wraps sit around the battery and do two critical things. In summer, they shield the battery from extreme engine heat, and in winter, they help the battery retain its own internal warmth long enough to make starting easier. Here is the problem. When people replace their battery, mechanics often toss the old insulation sleeve in the trash. They think it is pointless. One auto parts store worker was caught on camera telling a customer these things kill batteries faster, then simply threw it away. That is completely wrong. Removing or failing to reinstall the factory insulation blanket can reduce battery life by up to 2/3, especially in hot climates. If your car came with one, put it back on every single time you swap batteries. If it did not come with one, you can buy a universal battery insulation kit for around $15 to $20. Japanese mechanics consider this non-negotiable. If you are learning something new, hit that like button. It helps more than you think. Let's keep going. Trick number 4. They use smart battery maintainers religiously. This is the big one. This is the trick that Japanese car enthusiasts and mechanics swear by, and almost nobody in the West does unless they own a classic car or a boat. A smart battery maintainer, also called a float charger, is a small device that plugs into a wall outlet and connects to your battery. It uses a microprocessor to monitor the battery's voltage in real time. When the voltage drops below a certain threshold, it sends a gentle charge. When the battery is full, it stops. It cycles automatically, keeping the battery at the perfect state of charge indefinitely without overcharging. This matters because of self-discharge. Every car battery slowly loses charge when sitting, even if everything is turned off. Modern cars make this worse because dozens of electronic modules, your alarm system, keyless entry, onboard computers, they all draw tiny amounts of power around the clock. This is called parasitic draw, and a normal amount is 50 to 85 milliamps. That does not sound like much, but over 2 or 3 weeks of not driving, it can drain a battery enough to cause real damage. Once voltage drops below 12.4 volts, sulfation kicks in and starts corroding the internal plates. That damage is permanent. Japanese drivers who park their cars in garages, especially those who do not drive daily, almost always have a maintainer hooked up. Consumer reports confirm that advanced smart chargers often include a desulfation mode that can reverse some of the crystallization damage that occurs when batteries sit unused. That means the maintainer is not just preventing damage, it is actively repairing it. Battery Tender, one of the biggest names in the space, claims their products can help batteries last up to 4 times longer. Even if you cut that claim in half, you are still looking at doubling your battery life for a one-time investment of $30 to $50. One owner on a car forum said his previous battery lasted only 4 years with an 8-minute commute. After installing a maintainer, his next battery lasted over 6 years and counting. Same car, same driving pattern. That is real-world proof this works. Trick number 3. They check and maintain electrolyte levels. This applies if you have a traditional flooded lead-acid battery, the kind with removable caps on top. Inside each cell there is a liquid electrolyte, a mixture of sulfuric acid and distilled water that is essential for the chemical reaction that produces electricity. Over time, especially in hot climates, that water evaporates. When fluid levels drop below the internal lead plates, those exposed plates start to corrode and lose capacity permanently. Japanese mechanics check electrolyte levels during every service visit. If levels are low, they top up with distilled water. Never tap water. Tap water contains minerals and impurities that contaminate the electrolyte and accelerate plate degradation. They also never overfill, because excess fluid can leak out during charging when the electrolyte expands. Many modern cars use sealed or maintenance-free batteries where you cannot check or add fluid. If that is your case, this trick does not apply directly. But here is what you can still do. Use a multimeter to check your battery resting voltage every few months. A fully charged battery should read about 12.6 to 12.7 volts with the engine off. If it reads below 12.4 volts, sulfation is already starting. Below 12.0 volts and you are looking at serious internal damage. A simple $15 multimeter from any hardware store is all you need. Japanese Shaken inspectors use this exact voltage check as one of their battery health indicators during the mandatory biennial inspection. Trick number 2. They secure the battery to eliminate vibration. This is one of the most overlooked battery killers, and Japanese mechanics take it dead seriously. Your car battery sits in a tray under the hood, held in place by a hold-down clamp or bracket. If that bracket is loose, missing, or broken, the battery vibrates every time you hit a bump, turn a corner, or accelerate. That constant vibration shakes the internal lead plates loose, causes microfractures in the plate connections, and can even crack the battery casing. SHWA specifically warns that missing or loose hold-down hardware can significantly shorten battery life. The Shaken inspection system in Japan checks this. If your battery isn't properly secured, you fail. Simple as that. And it's not just about the bracket being there. It needs to be tight. Not over-tightened to the point where it cracks the battery case, but snug enough that the battery doesn't shift at all during driving. After every battery replacement, check this. It takes 30 seconds and a basic wrench. Most auto parts stores will install a new battery for free, but they don't always tighten the hold-down properly. One quick check could save you from replacing the battery a year or two early. Trick number 1. They protect the battery from parasitic drain. This is where Japanese meticulous attention to detail really shines. Parasitic drain is the silent vampire that sucks the life out of your battery while your car sits parked. Modern cars are worse than ever. Your car's computer modules, alarm system, keyless entry receiver, and dashboard clock all draw power 24/7. A healthy car should draw no more than 50 to 85 milliamps when completely off. But here's the thing. Aftermarket accessories are the biggest culprit for excessive drain. Dash cams that stay powered, aftermarket stereos wired incorrectly, phone chargers left plugged in, aftermarket alarm systems, even a USB device left in the cigarette lighter port. Any of these can push your parasitic draw well above normal levels. At 200 milliamps of constant draw, you can lose roughly 2 amp hours overnight. Do that every night for a few weeks, and your battery is dead. Japanese mechanics performing Shaken inspections routinely test for parasitic draw using a multimeter. If the reading is above the acceptable threshold, they trace the source by pulling fuses one at a time until the current drops. Then they know exactly which circuit is the problem. You can do this yourself. Turn everything off, remove the key, disconnect the negative battery cable, connect a multimeter in series between the cable and the terminal, and read the current. If it is above 85 milliamps, something is draining your battery that should not be. Japanese drivers also follow a simple habit that costs nothing. Before locking the car, they make sure every light is off, every charger is unplugged, and every accessory is switched off. They also avoid leaving the key fob near the car because proximity keys keep the receiver module searching, and that burns battery power. One owner discovered a faulty trunk light switch was drawing 140 milliamps overnight. That single defect was draining 3.4 amp hours per day, the equivalent of starting the engine 11 times without recharging. After fixing a $2 switch, his battery lasted 3 additional years. Bonus tip: in Japan, if a car is going to sit unused for more than a few weeks, many drivers install a simple battery disconnect switch. It is a physical cutoff that sits on the negative terminal and breaks the circuit completely. No draw whatsoever. 0. You turn a knob when you park, and when you come back, you turn it on. It costs about $10 to $15. It is cheap insurance against coming back to a dead battery and the permanent sulfation damage that comes with it. So let's recap what Japanese drivers and mechanics do differently. They avoid chronic short trips or compensate with regular longer drives. They keep terminals spotlessly clean. They never remove the factory insulation blanket. They use smart maintainers to prevent deep discharge. They check electrolyte levels and monitor voltage. They secure the battery against vibration, and they ruthlessly eliminate parasitic drain. None of this is expensive. None of it requires special skills. It's just discipline and attention to detail. The same discipline that built the Shaken system and made Japanese cars the most reliable on the planet. That's all for today. If you got value from this, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop a comment below and let me know. How old is your current car battery? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.